I see you. Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
You know, another day.
Making it happen.
Just really making it happen for myself. I'm gonna try to sticking some books under my laptop real quick, so ignore me.
Do it.
I was like so excited that my lights got here in time because what I wanted to do was have my new fancy LED lights that I bought to like make videos. I wanted to have those ready, and then I was like, ah, shit, that's just not gonna happen right now.
All good. All good. You got fancy lights. Are you starting a YouTube? You have a YouTube? You have a Patreon.
I have a Patreon, and then I'm starting to TikTok. I'm like 18 jillion years too late, but I'm starting to make content. No one except my patrons on Patreon have seen my attempts at it so far. Sorry, you're gonna get a little dizzy while I stack some books.
It's great. It's like a roller coaster. I haven't been on a ride for a while, so it's
You haven't been to an amusement park in a while, I think. And just as I elevate, I'm a tall person. How does that feel? You're looking at a human being. Whoa. This is my residual makeup for the day.
Love it. What were you up to today?
I was on set. I'm on set for the new Larry Wilmore talk show, the like political talk show. Mm-hmm. I'm a PA. I'm not nothing fancy, but it's great. It's definitely like in my world. It's letting me do some stuff. So
that's awesome.
Hey, making money, being in the industry that I'm really passionate about feels good.
Yeah, especially right now when literally nobody is able to make any living in that industry right now.
Yeah. I know that like everyone is really hurting from COVID, the coffee industry included, but like there's just like nothing like getting a paycheck and being like, damn, I did something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I did it in the middle of a fucking pandemic, you know?
Yeah, I just wanted to check in, especially I was looking through, the zine, and I was paging through, and I was like, wait, this person who like isn't a coffee business also sells art, or this person has a Patreon where that people can support them in their art. And it just kind of got the wheels turning, especially then Black Friday and the deals coming up and holiday shopping and everything. Anyway, and so both of those ideas kind of came together in my mind, and I was like, well, with Coffee People, we already have there's a group of people who would like to support each other and a group of people who make art to be consumed. So like, maybe I should just showcase that. I wanted to talk to you about like your Patreon and how people can support you financially, especially with the activism work that you've been doing, so that we can, kind of keep each other fueled, keep each other up and running, instead of buying a bunch of shit on Amazon that nobody really needs.
100%. I mean, there's a lot of struggling. I mean, for me, I look at it through the lens of like Black art specifically, but like all artists are struggling due to the pandemic, and because art is, gig work, and unless you have a gig, you're suffering. And that's something that I think a lot of my artist friends have been talking about recently, where it's, we went to school and got degrees, and our parents didn't want us to have those degrees. They wanted us to be like psychologists and teachers and things that they knew would make money, but we chose to get our degrees in art. And that was already a gamble. And like in the middle of this pandemic, that gamble, it's not that it's not paying off because you didn't work hard enough or you're not a good enough artist. It's that consuming art has already become a monopoly through a lot of like Netflix and Hulu, and a lot of these spaces already hold such a monopoly on how we consume art in an easy way, in an efficient way, which is not, necessarily anyone's fault if you subscribe to Netflix and Disney Plus and all of those things, but it makes it really hard for people who have not attained Phoebe Waller-Bridge status yet, but are a Phoebe Waller-Bridge or a Michaela Cole or any of those things. And I've talked to a lot of my artist friends that have so much potential in life and caring inside of them. And we've been having a lot of hard conversations about what it means to make art and be an artist in the middle of COVID. I specifically am a performance artist. So like I thrive with a live audience. I do burlesque, I do all of these things. And like, I love an audience, and I love Q&A talkbacks after films, and I love all of these things, and that's been so hard because of COVID. But also just like somebody who would have gone to a burlesque show a year ago and paid $15 to see me, and I would have gotten a little bit, a little bit of money to perform, not an option for me right now.
Yeah. How are you making it by then? Like both, monetarily you got this new job, but then also just like psychologically, because as a performer, I'm sure you thrive in front of people and you can't.
Oh, I am an attention whore. You know what I mean? Like my mom tells this great story about when my brother and I were kids and we were watching that Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, and like Prince did the album, and we loved Prince growing up. But I guess my brother was in diapers and like dancing to that scene where Jack Nicholson is like throwing money off of the like little parade float, and I pushed him out of the way and I started dancing because I needed all of the attention. Like I love the attention. So it's been super hard for me right now because like even when I'm not doing burlesque or attempting stand-up or whatever, I see people all the time through either working in coffee or like networking or, these shows, and not even getting to like get my yayas out of like having some creative attention like on a day-to-day has been super difficult. So money-wise, I have this new job that's I'm a PA on a set on Wilmore, which is amazing because it combines my two love of like making film and television and like talking about what's going on in our country right now from the perspective of a Black man.
Yeah.
And that crew is great because they're all like women run and like mostly POC, a lot of Black people on that crew. So it's great that's been helping me a lot. But also my Patreon, I have like 15 people who, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me that's plenty of people who just look at the weird, I'm attempting TikTok. I'm attempting TikTok and like just being able to experiment, like, does this work for you guys before I post it to anything has been so fun because I've gotten some really great responses and great feedback of like, I love this concept, but maybe you should try this. And so it's like having my own little personal curated audience of people who like know me and care for me and want to support me, but also are like, here's some great feedback before you just put that out on the internet and maybe go viral for the wrong reasons. You don't understand the TikTok.
That's awesome. Your own executive producing board. That's awesome.
Exactly. It's fun too because it's what do you call them? Oh, that's gonna bother me. Like when you bring people in to like see if a product is gonna work, but like
right. Yeah, like product testing, but that's not the right.
Yeah,
I know what you mean too, but it's.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Focus groups.
There we go. Yeah.
It's like having a focus group, which is great because I'm working on this like one person show right now, which is gonna be like stand-up comedy meets burlesque, meets just a lot of weird shit. And like that, experimenting with all of those layers and like figuring out exactly what I want to talk about in that show, just giving little snippets of like writing or like testing out, is this funny? Are people going to react to like my interpretation of this in these like little chunks of ways has been really helpful for me to feel like I'm creating something in the middle of all this.
Cool. Is that show meant to be like live performed when COVID is not, stopping us from being together?
Ideally, I love doing burlesque live. Mm-hmm. And because there will be a burlesque element to it, I think if anything, it should be a live show that's taped and it can be put on the internet. But I think that I would thrive in that show if I had a live audience to feed off of. Yeah, so that's something like weird and big that I'm working on that like has like so much of it is like made in different pieces, and now I just have to like start shoving them all together to like make this show.
Yeah, cool. How did you get started in burlesque? That's awesome.
I had a friend when I worked at Disney, and I casually mentioned, because I used to be a dancer, I did like musical theater dancing growing up, and I casually mentioned that like I need to find like a burlesque class or something. Like I just feel like that would combine my love of theater and dance and like being proud of my body. And she was like, I do burlesque, right? And I had no idea she ran her own burlesque show. She kind of became my burlesque mom for a bit because burlesque and like dancing are two different things. And I did my first show. My costume was completely homemade. Have you been to Disneyland?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever ridden the Jungle Cruise?
I don't.
Boat. You get in the boat
Get
and
wet?
people tell you, you get in a, no. You just like get in this boat and go in the jungle and there's somebody who like drives the boat and tells really, really bad jokes.
Oh,
Like
no,
terrible puns.
I didn't do that one.
Okay, smart. You made, a good life choice, but I worked that ride for about 4 years. I was the person who told the jokes in the boat.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be fun to do a burlesque about a jungle river cruise, not the jungle cruise, a jungle river cruise, where I was a jungle and someone told jokes and then I took off my clothes at the punchline.
I can only imagine.
It was very fun. I love that routine, but like, believe it or not, burlesque costume stores and seamstresses don't have a lot of jungle burlesque costumes. So I had to make this whole thing myself. So I was at Michael's, like just grabbing tons of foliage.
Ivy.
And then I had to like go home and like take old bras and like super glue and like staple and sew these like I still have like scars on my arms from like the wire poking out of these. But oh my God, because I did this show in Orange County and everyone in Orange County has like a Disneyland pass. So everyone knows every single joke on the Jungle Cruise. And on my Jungle River Guide burlesque routine, I may have adapted some of those jokes. So everyone just went wild. They had never seen such a theatrical, weird, like just ridiculous burlesque routine. And it was the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, I revive it as often as I can, and I'm trying to get better at like sewing leaves onto clothing because that costume was just janky as hell. But I sold it. I sold it with the enthusiasm,
Is that the kind of stuff that people could expect to see on your Patreon?
Oh yeah.
Just weird freaking stuff.
Like, I mean, oh my God. I have a lot of dumb burlesque routines that I'm working on. I'm not like a serious burlesque performer. I think in burlesque you can go either way. You can go very beautiful, sexual, serious, like glam, like Dita Von Teese is like a perfect example of just an amazing burlesque performer who just really takes things seriously. And then you have me, and you have like, and it's people like me who dabble a lot, and like drag queens kind of do the same thing where they're having fun and they're making a show. And like, I have always like leaned towards being funny and being weird my whole life. So yeah, on my Patreon right now, I'm working on a TikTok series. I want to like make a couple before I release it, but it's called Karen in the Wild. It's just random microaggressions that I experience from like white people who come up to me in the wild, like wanting to touch my hair or like demanding to know my ethnicity. And it's just, I bought this like cheap Marilyn Monroe like wig that I kind of wear askew, and so it's just wild and stupid random craziness. That's what you can expect from my Patreon.
That's great.
And then ukulele covers, that's something else I do.
Ukulele covers?
Yeah, I've been playing ukulele for a really long time, and I have a interesting voice, and so I do a little cover once a month, and I just pick something that everybody knows. Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
A little musical element, gotta keep it light too.
Yeah, bring a little uke in there. That's fun. Is that would you say that your music is more a like subset of your performance, or is music a different thing for you? Like as a creative outlet?
Definitely different. Whenever I do burlesque or whenever I'm trying to like write for like a show or whatever for myself, I try to really infuse this like level of humor into it. Even if I'm talking about something super serious, I think that you can see that in my article. I'm talking about activism and how I want to be something else. And I even talk about how like the Resistance should have this poster of like Carrie Fisher giving you the bird and telling you that you need to like be in the Resistance, which I think she would totally do if she were still here. But like with my music, I really like to sing and like have like a nice, I think the ukulele is such a great instrument because even when you sing such a sad song, it still has this lightness to it. my grandfather used to love to hear me play like Elvis covers and stuff like that. So for me, music has become like a very cherished thing. I want to get better though at infusing it into my other art. I just feel like I'm so precious with it because it was something my grandpa really liked. And I used to busk in high school, and it's how I paid for my prom dress. And it was just like, that's the aspect where I do take myself seriously, not because I'm good, but because it's something that's tender to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk a little bit more also about the activism that you've been doing as well, because you've been
Yeah.
caffeinating the resistance in speaking of your contribution to the zine.
Yeah, I Go Get 'em Tiger is great because I literally just said, hey, can I take a bunch of cold brew to this protest? It was like in the summer, it was like 90 degrees. And we'd been donating like water to protesters who'd be walking by. Like they could come up to Go Get 'em Tiger and we'd give them a free bottle of water. And I loved that, but I felt like we could be more active in it. It wasn't, you could come to us and get a water bottle. I wanted to make it more, we'll come to you and we'll have some supplies for you. You can find us. And so there was a protest in Highland Park in March, and I kind of like in a moment's notice, we didn't know it was happening till day of, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a bunch of snacks. I'm gonna go get sunscreen. You guys get the coffee. You guys get the leftover pastries. I'm gonna get a table. We're gonna go out front, and because they were walking right in front of the store. It's like, let's go out front. Let's make some signs. So I went to the 99-cent store and I got a bunch of like posters, and I got a bunch of markers, and I was just like, let's just be here like close to the street, because like I think that too, when you're saying, oh, we have water bottles if you walk by, you have to like leave the march and go wait in line and like, you know, oh, can I have a water bottle? But if we're like out there present and everything like that. So after that, there's a Jackie Lacey protest every Wednesday. It's been going on for actually like 3 years. I went and I just brought 2 Joe to go's of cold brew, and I was like, maybe they'll want it, maybe they won't, but like, why not? And it was very popular. There's a lot of kids at that protest just because it's stationary. It's very community oriented, so people feel comfortable bringing their families. So we started expanding what we would bring to make sure that kids could have something to drink or a snack or whatever. But like the crux has always been, we will caffeinate you because you're out here, you're hustling, it's hot, you're tired, you might be going to a march after this. Like, activism is hard work. Showing up, putting your body on the line, like that's really hard work. And we don't talk enough about how exhausting it can be when you're really being present in the resistance. I think it's important. I think that the discussion is starting to be had. I hear lots more about, you know, self-care and all of these things, but this is a job. This is a physically intense, emotionally intense job, and we need to take care of each other. So if I can get you a coffee that will like get you through the end of the protest, or if I can say, what can I bring you that's going to be good for you? That's such an easy thing to me. Yeah. Is showing up and bringing a coffee. So it kind of spiraled, and now I have like 6 or 7 people I work with. I work alongside Build Power because they kind of noticed that I was always there and I was always bringing things, and they were like, so we set tables up together and we all coordinate who's bringing what. And every week, Jackie Lacey under a canopy, you'll find me and my friends just handing things out. We don't take donations in person, mostly because we believe if you're there putting your body on the line, like you're doing that work. I fundraise through my Instagram. I fundraise through an Amazon wish list, just because I have, outside of the cold brew, the snacks, the sunscreen, all these other things I pay for out of pocket. So I have been fundraising a little bit for that, and it's been really helpful because a lot of people who either can't get to the protests or like want to do more or just really believe in the work that I'm doing, they can send me $50 and know, and they put in their Venmo, I want this to go towards bottled water. I want this to go towards you making food, because I've been incorporating making ready to go meals because we get a lot of homeless folks at this protest and we want to make sure they have some food. So I basically say, this is what I do. If there's something you want to see, talk to me about it, but like Venmo, buy the things on my Amazon wish list. If you have questions about what I'm spending this money on, I'm happy to send you receipts. You know, I'm very open. Like, I'm not taking this money because I'm trying to like get cool points or like make a profit on the resistance. I'm taking this money because I believe in putting it back in the community, like boots on the ground.
Yeah. Well, and you were doing it before anyone was giving you money in the first
Right.
place.
Right.
This
Like
is
this was coming out of pocket and was expensive. So it's great to have everyone, even like people just chipping in $10. 10 people chipping in $10 means that I can get all of my protest supplies for the month, honestly. So that was great because before it was just me putting that $100 up front by myself and showing up to the protest and doing that work and being a Black woman. So
right.
it was
All of the
extra,
things.
all of the things. I just need a little help with some of the things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of that, how can people help you with this? So you mentioned your Venmo and following you on Instagram, but what are those handles, and like how can
Oh
people
yeah.
find and give you the money to keep doing the things you're doing?
Yes. So I have my Instagram handle is Queen KWEEN period North. It's what was available, but Queen of the North. In my link on my bio or whatever, you'll see a link to an Amazon wish list. I try to keep up with it. I actually just got a bunch of socks and t-shirts today that we're going to make into little kits and donate to Solidarity and Snacks and K-Town for All. So that's a great way. If you just if you don't want to just donate money for no, I want to make sure I'm buying a thing. I have an active wish list of things that are just for protesting. In a week of me posting that link, someone bought me a wagon because I was carrying coolers and supplies and cold brew for 4 blocks because the police make it really difficult to get close. So we have to park a couple blocks away, walk up a huge hill, maybe make trips. So that wagon has been a huge lifesaver. And it makes us mobile so we can go to marches and not just rallies now. So that Amazon link is great. Venmo is great. Just include what you want that money to go towards. I've also had friends just Venmo me $20 and say, go buy, this is for you to get a bottle of wine. I immediately
Self-care, you still have to do that.
Yeah, no, I do. I immediately take that out and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna transfer that to my bank. I will go get a wine right now. But if you tell me exactly what you want to do with it, great. If you just say this is for the resistance, it will go to a good place, I promise. I've been holding on to a balance in Venmo in case anything goes wrong. We need to get people help in Los Angeles. You just never know when things are gonna kick off again. We might need to invest in shields, that kind of stuff. So there is a balance in the Venmo for whatever may come up, but it's there for the resistance, not for me.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 main ways to support me. If you go to Jackie Lacey, if you want to bring a case of water and you see my table, we will always take more water, more masks, more hand sanitizer. We try to give those out to as many homeless folks in the area as possible. We're very close to Skid Row. So if you want to just bring supplies and say, hey, this is for the houseless neighbors on your way home, we'll make sure that gets into the right hands too.
That's awesome. And people can support your Patreon.
Yes. My Patreon, it should just be, I feel like I should know my own Patreon. It's Katherine LaVeaux, which is my production company name, and also just my real name. That would be a great way to support me as an artist, just because between activism and between PA work, I need my audience to so I can still feel like I am participating in artistry. So even if you just subscribe to the $5 a month one, it just lets me know that there's someone else seeing my content and actively wanting to see that. And that in and of itself is very important to this person who needs the attention.
Yeah, need the attention. And I'm sure that helps with motivation too. Maybe
100%.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's somebody expecting me to provide some content, it makes it really difficult to come home and not make some content, which is absolutely fabulous. It's not always great. I'm not going to pretend that everything I post on there is ready for the internet or super amazing, but gosh darn it, I'm still trying, aren't I?
You're making it happen. You're doing the thing.
Feel free to leave your opinions on my art if you're a subscriber. You paid for it. You can say if you don't like it. I mean, I can take it.
More feedback for the TikToks.
Exactly. I need my constructive criticism EP team on it,
Very nice. Cool. Well, I realized that I didn't have you do an introduction at the beginning. This is something that I've forgotten 3 people that I've done this with. I get to the end, say goodbye and whatever, and then I'm like, oh crap, I didn't have them do an intro. So
yes, introduce yourself.
If you do an intro, just like say like, hey, my name is blank, and then I am a blank. Like you can say in coffee, not in coffee. You can say you're like what you do in art creation, performer, whatever,
Cool.
whatever you want to say.
Awesome. Just go like.
Yeah, go for it. I'm gonna edit this together so that it'll be in the right order. But
I
yeah,
believe in you.
yeah.
We'll all be in post, you know?
Oh yeah. Lights,
All
camera,
right.
action.
So, hi, I'm Katherine LaVeaux. I am a barista for Go Get 'em Tiger, but more importantly, I am a performance artist.
Bada bang, bada boom. Perfect.
Wow, she got it.
You did it. First take and everything.
I know. It's like I'm an actor.
Professional. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to mention? We kind of covered a whole lot of ground.
I hope this is okay. I hope we did things.
Yeah, no, this is really great. I just wanted to, I mean, yeah, also this is a little bit selfish. As I was paging through the zine, I just kept being like, I just want to talk to all these people. Like, because KP got to the editor for the issue, she got to talk to everyone who did the features. And usually I get to talk to everyone who's on the features. And so as I was paging through, I'm like, but I want to talk to people too. So part of this is like, I just wanted to like talk to people and hear more about what they're doing, and hear how like I as Kat and Coffee People can continue to spread the word. Because for people who read the zine, they hear like they can see your work, but they don't necessarily know a couple layers, beneath. And
Yeah. No, totally.
So, yeah, this was great. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of edit it down so that it'll be a little feature and less of like a full. It won't be our whole conversation. I might put our whole conversation on for the Coffee People patrons though, just because they might be more interested.
Totally.
And then I'll like link to your things. I was gonna put these on Instagram TV. I might also put it on YouTube. And if I put it on YouTube, I can link to all of your stuff in the description. I'm still learning YouTube. I
don't understand YouTube either. TikTok, YouTube, all of these things. And it's so weird because Patreon won't just let you like make a video and upload it. You have to like upload lots of things through like a third party website. Like you have to use Vimeo or YouTube if you're going to post it. It's like the bane of my existence. Cause like I made it for my patrons. So I have to like upload it to YouTube, but like make sure it's private so I can only let my patrons see it. It's the worst. So I'm still figuring out YouTube too.
Yeah. Technology. They don't make it easy for us. No.
But during these COVID times, this is what we have to do, right?
No. I think I've zoomed I put off learning Zoom for so long because I was like, I don't get it. I don't know how to schedule a meeting. I don't know how to do any of this. Like, and now I'm like, it's not going away. I just need to fucking learn it.
You just have to figure it out. I know I've had to figure out like my laptop camera angles. I did not expect that to be where my 2020 was going, but okay, here we are.
Here we are. We got it. Cool. Well, great. Thank you very much. What else are you up to tonight?
My friend has to bring back the supplies from the protest, and then I'm gonna get a little bit of writing done for this TV show I want to sell, and then I'm gonna go to bed because I have a lot. Like we're filming tomorrow on set, so if I show up cranky, it's not gonna be a fun day. Well, it's nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Let's hang when it's able to. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye.